basketball team, period.
The best basketball team, period. You heard it here first or second. All right. Thanks so much, past President Sandy Martin, for introducing our speaker today. Sandy?
Thank you, President Shannon. I am thrilled to introduce UT Lady Vols basketball head coach, Kim Caldwell. Kim is starting her second season as the Lady Vols head coach. She's dynamic, and she's the coach that will restore our women's basketball program to national prominence. Her successful approach to basketball is high octane, high scoring, leading to many wins. If you've been to any of her games, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In her 9 years as a coach, just 9 years, her impressive record is 241 wins to 41. I think she makes Pat Summit happy. Let's welcome Coach Kim Cole.
Thank you guys very much for having me today. Appreciate it. I've done a few Rotary lunches before, but this is by far the biggest. So I was not really prepared for this many people. I don't know that I can give you 15 minutes, but we will open it up for questions and then I'm all yours. But just to tell you a little bit about myself and my journey here, because I do have a unique journey from most of the other coaches that are at this level. I've been called tall twice today, which is great because I was not tall in my family, but I do come from a basketball family. My sisters are 6'5" and 6'4", and my dad was 6'10". So I was the runt. I don't know what happened. I was the youngest. We ran out of good genes by the time I came around. So both of my sisters played Division I basketball. I did not. I was too short. My dad tried to make me a post player. It didn't really work. So I went Division II. So I had a little bit of a different journey, a different route to where I stand today, which makes me appreciate it so much more. But I grew up in a gym. I grew up around basketball, loved it from the beginning. I knew I wanted to coach from the second I knew I was not going to be able to play after college, which is pretty quickly on in my life. I figured that out. So I played Division II. I wanted to coach because my dad was my high school coach. I loved playing for him. He coached me and my sisters. And after I was done playing, I got a GA job. And then I went to California for 3 years to be an assistant. And then Glenville State, which is a tiny, tiny one stoplight town in the middle of West Virginia. We didn't even need the stoplight. It could have been a 4-way. But we had it. I mean, we had no Walmart, we had no mall, it was 45 minutes to the closest Walmart, it was an hour and a half to the closest mall. So we were out there in the middle of nowhere, and that's where I went to school, and that's where I coached for the first 7 years of my career. And when I got the call back, I was 26. So when I got the call back, I told my dad, I don't really know how to do this. Will you quit your job? And he was still coaching high school. They were probably going to win a few more state championships. And he quit his job. He did not move to the tiny town. He drove an hour and a half every day to come to work by my side. And he taught me a whole lot. So that was a great opportunity for me. He passed a few years ago of brain cancer, but we got to coach for 4 years together. We won several championships, and I always wanted to coach because of him. And so he really set my foundation in coaching, and I know he would be so proud of where I stand today. Oh, and he would be loving it. He would be trying to be at every practice. He'd be standing right here. I promise you that. And so then I was in Glenville in the tiny town for several years, and then I got a big break and I got to go to Division I at Marshall. So I was still in West Virginia, and I thought that I had made it. We have a Walmart, we have a Sam's Club, we fly private, life is great. I didn't know that anything better on earth existed. And I was content to be there. I was going to be there for the rest of my career. Only reason I hired an agent was to renegotiate my contract at Marshall, and then Tennessee called. And I think you guys know the rest. It's a job that you don't turn down. It's a life-changing job. I am honored that I was even a candidate, let alone the one that was chosen. I could have been the 100th pick, and I still would have been so appreciative that I was the number 100 on the list of people that they thought of. So you move again, you pack up your house, you pack up your life, you hit the ground running. And last year was a great start for our program. It was a whirlwind of a year. You tell your team goodbye, you get on a private plane, you get here, and a lot of people don't know this, but I got on the plane and I met the team, and I always thought that I would go back to West Virginia, and I never stepped foot in that house again. It was packed up and it was sold, and I never had time to go back. And that's the dedication that I put into this program. That's the love that I had for the team that embraced me with open arms when I got here. We have a member of that team here today, Tess Darby, who played for 5 years. And unfortunately, I only got to coach her for 1. I would have liked to coach her for 10. She is an amazing human being. Her growth last year from on the court to off the court was remarkable for me to see. One of the biggest changes I've ever seen in a player. And I think she had a lot of fun doing it. So last year's team was such an important team for me. And as you coach over the years, every team has a story. Every team has a meaning. Every team has a memory. Your first team you ever coached. You have the team that coached when your dad passed and he was their assistant, so that team means something. You have a national championship team. You have your first Division I team, and then you have this Tennessee team that I coached last year. And they bought into what we were doing. They saw themselves getting better. They believed in me. They believed in somebody that was a nobody in this profession. That there was a lot of speculation of if I could do it, and they believed in what we were doing, and they did it to the best of their ability, and I will always appreciate them for that. And because of what we were able to do, and Sweet 16 is not really going to be the goal going forward, but because we were able to get that, we were able to sign the classes that we did. We were able to take a foot in the right direction. And the last things I ever said to that team was, any success we have here will be because of this team. And so they were great for us. And then we were able to sign the #1 portal class, and we were able to sign the #2 recruiting class in the country. And we're trying to continue to build on that. So those classes are here. We have been working. We are on week 13, and it feels like sometimes we're on week 2. And the season will be here before we know it. So we've added 8 new players. And so it's a big turnover again. We still have a core group of players that have done it and have the ability to lead and know what to expect and know my temperament and know what we allow and what we don't allow. And so that makes everything significantly easier. Most of you guys know I also decided to have a baby last year and just do it all at once. And so that not being pregnant also makes it a lot easier. And being able to, every room you walk into, a face is not a brand new face. You know where you're going. You don't have to drive with your GPS on. Your ankles aren't swollen out of your shoes every day. It's been a significantly smoother transition, and I'm enjoying this team. I'm enjoying the work that they have put in. We're more athletic. I don't know that we're more skilled than what we have been in years past. We definitely miss tests. We miss our 3-point shooters. We will look a little different on the floor for those of you that have seen us play. We're more so drivers, we're bigger, but we're not as great from 3-point range, which makes me a little bit nervous because I don't know a lot about math and I still count on my fingers, but I know 3 is worth more than 2. So I like to try to get those shots up when we can. So we've had an eventful summer, and we start here pretty soon. We'll have an exhibition game at home, and then we have probably, I don't know this for a fact, but we probably have one of, if not the toughest non-conference schedule in the country. So we really need to make sure that we have it together. Last year, our non-conference schedule was a little bit lax, and I don't think we got any better out of it. And so for whatever reason, I decided to just not do any middle ground and go 100% the opposite direction and really test this early so that when we get into SEC play, we're not losing games by 2, 3, 4 points, that we've already gotten through that in the non-conference, and that we can hopefully be contenders so when we get into SEC play. So that is a little bit of my 2.5 year journey in a nutshell for you. And I will take any questions that you guys have. Yeah.
Coach, your style is unique. Did you pick up a lot of that from your dad and his style, or did he play a similar style, or is that something that you were exposed to in D2 playing?
That's a great question. I had several coaches throughout my collegiate career, and my first coach, we walked the ball off the floor. We played 6 players. It was very slow. It was very controlled. And when I say walk the ball off the floor, I mean, it took us 12 seconds to get it across half court. We were putting across. And then we had a coaching change, and we played very fast. We played a lot of players. And so to be there and to see the difference, and to see how fun one style of play was, to not be limited, to not be put in a box, to be able to play freely, to be able to shoot and go rebound and just play hard and not have to worry about getting subbed out for making mistakes, and all of your teammates play. So it's not, when you coach females, sometimes you have she's coach's favorite, or I should be starting her, I'm better than her. And you kind of get this divide in a program. When everyone plays, everyone contributes to wins, everyone contributes to losses, your teams are closer. So that dynamic for me was much more fun. And that's something that when I was hired back at Glenville, that was the expectation. We had a great fan base. It was probably one of the few places in the country at that level. We did double headers with our men. And we would play first, our men would play second, and people would leave for our men's game, and they would come to our game. And that was the running joke in our league. It was the running joke in Division II, that was the only place that was really happening, because we played such an exciting style of play. And so they wanted me to play that way. So that's how I started coaching, and it's been successful ever since. So I feel like I can't change it. Mhm.
After last year, did you decide to change any strategy this year?
We had about 2.5 pages of things that we're gonna change. From little things to how we time things on the road to travel, to X's and O's, defensive schemes, offensive breakdown. So we have a lot of things that I don't know, unless you're a true avid basketball fan, that you will pick up on. The pace will still look the same. The energy and the effort will still look the same, but X's and O wise, scout wise, opponent wise, we'll have we already have other things and different things in this year than we did last year. Everything we wanted to do, I think our average loss last year was 6 point something points a game, what we lost by. And we were trying to find every single way we could get those points back. And I think we did some of that recruiting, but if it's recovery, if it's nutrition, if it's sleep, if it's player relationships, if it's communication, if it's X's and O's, extra shooting, extra film, multiple film, we kind of put all of that on paper and met all summer long, really, of ways that we can get those points back and ways we can get better. And just becoming obsessed with that differential to take the next step forward.
Coach, who's the opponent you think will test the team the most in the early season?
Yeah, I think the opponent that will test the team the most in the early season will be NC State, because it's our first game. So when you have the 5 freshmen and 8 new players, you can practice against your practice team all you want. You can practice against each other all you want. We're going to find out what we're made of. And really quickly, when we have a big time opponent on the road or at a neutral site, but still not at home early in the year, because you're still going to have some people that may be playing outside of their role, maybe playing nervous. That's going to be the biggest test to see what we're made of and what we need to fix.
Tess, do you have any eligibility remaining? I already get that a lot. I check quite often.
They used to restrict how much time you could sit the team. Is that now just out the window? And then how much time is a team expected to?
It's not out the window, which is interesting considering you're paying them now. But no, it's not out the window. So you still have restrictions on your hours and then your off days.
So you and I have something in common, and a lot of the Rotarians don't know this. I'm a coach. I'm a girls' high school at church league. Yeah. Our team has been horrible. Now I'm gonna get to the question. I've been coaching for 10 or 12 years, and it's a non-paid position.
Sounds like
You're not allowed to have girls on the team that play high school basketball, so all of them
That's unfortunate.
are playing. They don't play basketball. They might play another sport in high school, but most of them don't. So it's just trying to get them up the court properly without losing the ball. But anyway, so like on a serious note, I would like to hear some specifics about recruiting. It's such a big area to try to recruit from. How do you go about doing that? And it sounds like I may need to do some recruiting.
That is probably the biggest jump for me. And when you go from Division II to Division I, that's a pretty big jump, but when you go from mid-major to this level, it's like, oh boy, this is a different ballgame. And recruiting was the biggest piece of that, all right, I've never seen any of these. I'm expected to sign these players, I've never seen them play, because I'm not gonna be at Division II sitting at this game watching, I can't get the worst player on the team. And then you don't have a budget to really travel to Division II, and same thing at Marshall, I'm not gonna watch the best players in the country play, I'm not gonna waste my time. So then you're playing a lot of catch up, and you're trying to navigate who to talk to first, how to get these players' phone numbers, we were in such a hole. We were in such a hole trying to scramble it all out. So this hiring a staff was really important that had the connections, that had seen the players play, narrowing down who would fit for us. There's a lot of great players in the country that won't fit what we want to do. We don't want a slow back to the basket post player that can't get up and down the floor pretty quickly. So there's some players that we can automatically cross off that aren't going to be a good fit for us. And then we pick the ones that I think for us, freshman wise and transfer wise, we play 10 people. So there's most teams out there are trying to recruit maybe 1-2 good players a year because they play 6, so they don't have the turnover that we have, where we had to bring in 8. We had to bring in 8 that could help us right away. So it's a massive project to try to get these players. And then for me, when you don't necessarily have a resume yet, then you're trying to just get people to buy stock in what we're trying to do, and trying to convince them that they can help be part of something. Our fan base is amazing. That helps. There's a lot of empty gyms out there for women's basketball. We don't have that. I think players work too hard to go play in front of an empty gym. You bring somebody here on a football game day, and we don't have to do a whole lot else. College game day was amazing, and our fan base was amazing, and we have so many great things just with what Tennessee is doing that separates us from other schools. And then I think you just explain how we see them fit in our system, and everyone likes offense, everyone likes to shoot. We kind of give everyone a green light, and we let everyone see how they would fit. And they have to see if they, one, want to take the risk and buy stock in themselves and me and what we are trying to grow and build here, or if they want to take a safer route. And I am happy with the players that we got, because it's also not just a athletic ability or a skill set, it's a mindset of, right, you're the type of player I want to coach because you weren't scared to do this.
What lessons did you maybe learn about from Pat Summitt's legacy before you got here? And have you learned anything new about her legacy since?
I think the most amazing thing about Pat Summitt is her legacy will never go away. It's still here. Everywhere you go, somebody has a Pat Summitt story, and I never get tired of hearing them. Some are funnier and more intense than others, but they're all great to hear and all great to listen to, especially from the former players. And even now with the Pat Summitt Foundation, which is such a great cause, even in her passing, she is still changing lives, and she has changed the game of women's basketball. She has changed women's sports, but now her foundation is also trying to change the world, which is phenomenal. And prior to getting here, I never got a chance to meet her. I did read her book multiple times, and the timing of which I read her book was the second I found out I was going to be a head coach. I read it once as an assistant coach, and then I got the audible version and would listen to it the second that I got the head coaching job, because it was such a great blueprint of who she was as a human and how she operated her day-to-day life. And there's just little nuggets in there that you can take with you.
You talk to Rick Barnes very often.
I do. My husband is on Rick Barnes' staff, so I get a good Rick Barnes story every day. And he's one of the most remarkable human beings I've ever been around. And he's a fabulous coach. He and I are very different coaching wise, but he's a remarkable coach and an even better person. And there's not a better person I could share my space with.
Can you talk about the payment of the players and NIL deals that are going on with these things all?
I can't really talk too much about it, so I just don't really like to be honest. I don't even really like to get involved in it, because I don't want to see a player on the floor and see a dollar sign and then just get mad. That also has been a big adjustment, so we have a team for that.
Okay.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Sam.
Can you talk a little bit about the new faces that you have this year, whether they're freshmen or transfers, and just give us a flavor of some of the players that you've brought in?
Yes.
The skill they bring and the excitement that we should look for.
So we have 5 freshmen, which is a lot of freshmen. They've been great. They've worked hard. I haven't had this many freshmen in quite some time, and I forgot how great it is to have freshmen. They appreciate everything. They get 1 t-shirt, they think it's amazing. They're not tired of food yet, so they think it's phenomenal, and they don't know how to cheat in the drills, so they just go as hard as they can the whole time. So that's a blessing. I love them. You have 2 twins, Mia and Maya Paldo. They are 5'5", they think they're taller, but they're not. And they're just scrappy, fearless players that are gonna fit into what we do very well. You have Jada Civil, who I think has the potential to be one of our best players. She's incredibly athletic. She's a remarkable human being, works hard every day. She's one of the few players that I don't believe, she maybe has missed 1 practice. Other than that, she has been out there. She has been winning every sprint on the track, every drill, getting extra shots up. She's really excited to be here and thanks me almost every single day for believing in her, which I think is special at this level. You have Lauren Hurst, who is going to be really good for us. She is taller than me. She's probably 6'1". She is a shooter and a driver, strong. She's physical, also comes from a great family, and her family just moved to Maryville, so they're right here, which is nice. And then we have Janiyah Barker, who's a transfer from UCLA. She's going to be great for us. She's probably our leader right now. She's the most outspoken, which is helpful for me as a coach because she has they went to the Final Four last year, so she knows the sacrifices that it takes. She can tell people it's worth it. It kind of sucks, but it's worth it. It kind of sucks, but it's worth it. And it's nice to have a player be able to echo that, so it's not always me. Oh, we have Jersey and Naya are both our other 2 transfers. Jersey is a 6'5" post player. She can move like I've never really seen anyone move before. She can press like a guard. She grew really late in life, so she still moves like a guard. And then Naya Robertson is a 1-2 combo guard. She was the 2nd leading scorer in the ACC. She will probably play both positions for us. She's a good 3-point shooter. She's quick. She plays really hard. I think that's everyone. Oh, and Denaya. Denaya is from Canada and she was at IMG before, but she's gonna be a pro. She's got a great body. She moves well. She can get to the rim. She can shoot. So she's another good addition that we are hopeful to have on the floor for us right away. So it's a lot. It's been two big recruiting classes back to back. And then this next one, I think we have 7 again. And then hopefully our feet will be under us, our foundation will be set, and then we can just get a normal amount every single time.
And you talk a little about the support of former Lady Vols.
Yes, the support of former Lady Vols, that is one thing, that's another of the many lists of things that I did not quite have my head wrapped around when I got the job here, of how massive that unit is. Such a phenomenal alumni, they're so important to what we are trying to build. They're so important, again, to the game and to the growth of women's sports, and everyone that has played here beforehand had something to do with that. And it's really important to me that we grow the way I want us to grow, and I have to stay true to who I am and why I am here to help us grow, but we also pay tribute to the past and the players that made this job what it is, and put the fans in the stands and got us where we are, because we have so much more than what other women's programs do, and it's because of the people that came before us. Mm-hmm.
You just made me think of something. You speak about growing your players. What are you doing to teach them leadership? Even though we're all about winning, and I know that, but what are you doing to teach them that leadership, and then once they graduate, how they go into society?
Yeah, I don't think you could win really without that. I am learning with this generation, the last couple of years, the mindset aspect and the off the court aspect and the leadership and how to fight through and how to have a next play mentality and how to communicate and all of these life skills. Teaching that is just as important as teaching them their place and teaching them how to do this, and this. And to make sure that we have open lines of communications. We do learning labs once or twice a month, whether it's financial planning, whether it's leadership, whether it's interview skills. whether it's how to change a tire, anything that they need for life. And we'll try to tailor it to each group, and then we'll have those sessions so where they can really, and they enjoy them. And where they really sit down and learn things that just aren't on the floor.
Thank you.
We've got time for one or two more questions. Joe?
How many teams substitute 5 players at once? And was that a challenge last year to get buy-in from your players, and as new players come in and know that's probably gonna be your style again, is that something that takes a while to get used to?
It definitely takes a while to get used to, and you can see that on the floor. You can see so many players, the only reason they would ever, probably every player, the only reason they were ever subbed out their whole entire life was when they made a mistake. And when you're coaching females, it's hard to unlearn that. It's hard to say, hey, I'm subbing you out, you did great. You're gonna go right back in. I just want to keep you fresh. I just want to make sure that you can play as hard as you can, as fast as you can, as long as you can. And putting them in those situations. And it took us some time to figure out that you should be exhausted, gasping for air when you come out. And if you're not, and you're coming out and you're angry about the fact that you're coming out, you're not doing it right. And we did eventually get to that. We got to the point where they were on the bench like, whew, oh, why'd you leave us in there so long? That's what it's supposed to be. And you go through a phase with every team where they're coming off the floor grumbling because they don't quite figure it out. And I mean, Tess, you could probably answer that better than I could.
It's true, but it was also like so rewarding when you saw all the work you put in, like during the summer, during the hard times, like Coach Kim said, like, how are we getting through this? But whenever you saw the other teams literally gasping for air, hunched over, that's whenever we all just grinned and was like, okay, they can't do it. Here comes another group. That was really fun, and it really brought out the truth.
I like that killer instinct. There was a question I saw in the back. Was it you, David? Ah, Gloria.
So a baby changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot. A lot. I don't sleep very much anymore. I think that a lot of people told me, are you gonna be soft? Are you gonna be soft? Are you gonna be softer when you're a mom? And it's the exact opposite of, no, I had a baby, I can do anything. I came back 3 days after having a baby. I don't care about your friend anymore. And my sympathy went out the window. And so that probably sucks for our players, but I really didn't. I mean, if they were complaining about being sick, I don't want to hear it. That's why we're just gonna keep going. I think that it's a little bit harder before you have a kid, I still think about basketball the majority of the time, but there are times where I do have to shut it off and I do have to be present with my son, and those times are phenomenal and they're great and I love him. And it's the biggest blessing to have something that can actually take your mind off of it, because the majority of the time in my head, it's not nice thoughts. And so it's good when you can have something that can really separate you from that. But that is a change for me of, all right, you're gonna not think about basketball for the next few hours. So it's good and bad. That's excellent.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear about the team and about you, and I think that you are very gracious, very open, and I think everyone here would agree with me. She's a winner, and Pat Summit would be very proud. Thank you. Well, I'm going to throw those pins on the floor. It's our tradition, thank you very much, to present a book to our speaker. We donate it to East Knox Elementary School on your behalf, so if you'll sign it, we'll get that taken care of. Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank your Assistant Director of Operations, Maggie, for being here today, and you, Coach, and to Sandy for working with the athletic department to have the coach come visit with us today. And please come back if you're visiting. Please come back next week. Our program will be Bruce Bean, PhD, Dr. Bean. He is the Dean and the CEO of Digital Learning and the Deloitte LLP Professor at the University of Tennessee Haslam College of Business. We'll be right back here at noon.